Good morning, students. I'm Dr. Angela, and I'm taking the paper on psychological competencies. So today we are going to uh, learn on psycho-cybernetics, which is Unit 9, right? Because today is one class, and then we have one more class in the coming week. So we'll try and see that we finish this complete syllabus of psychological competencies. So today we are going to focus on psycho-cybernetics, Unit 9 in your textbook. And the objective of this lesson is to understand how psycho-cybernetics works, to know the importance and need for positive thinking. It's very simple, and learn the ways, efficiency that impacts our success. Okay, now what is this word cybernetics? Cybernetic comes because we anyway know about what is psycho, right? So we need to understand what is cybernetics. It comes from a Greek word which means helmsman who steers the ship to port. So psycho-cybernetic is a term which means steering your mind to a productive, useful goal. So you can reach the greatest port in the world, and that is the peace of mind. Okay. So he created this, Maxwell Matz created the self-improvement phenomena and suggested that many people see themselves inaccurately, their perceptions distorted by unchallenged and erroneous beliefs embedded in the subconscious mind. Okay, so Maxwell teaches this techniques of emotional surgery, the path to a dynamic new self-image and self-esteem to achieve success and happiness one's deserves. He urges to turn crisis into creative opportunities, to dehypnotize oneself from false beliefs, celebrate new freedom from fears and guilt. So, according to him, self image is the key to human personality and human behavior. Change in the self image will bring a change in the personality and behavior as well, like setting boundaries of an individual accomplishment. It defines what one cannot do by expanding the self image. The area of the possible will also expand. The development of an adequate, realistic self image will seem to enrich the individual with new capacities, new talents, and turn failures into success, which in turn impact the efficiency of the individual. Now, psycho-cybernetics also explores the power of positive thinking and explain why it works with some individual. Okay, so now the human brain and the nervous system operates purposefully in accordance with the known principles of cybernetics to accomplish goal of the individual. It consists of a complex, a goal-striving mechanism, a sort of built-in automatic guidance system which works as a success mechanism or a failure mechanism, depending on how you operate it and the goal you set for it. So cybernetics began as the study of machine and mechanical principles and attempts to restore the dignity of a man as a unique creative being. The science of cybernetics tells us how that machine functions and how it can be used. Marx argued that the self image can be changed only by experiencing when the person experiences acceptance as a human being, right? He feels that his self has some worth and dignity, and he comes to accept himself and conceive his self in new terms. Thus, experiencing direct and controlled method of changing the self image. Memories of past experience act as a built in stored information, which gives us the self confidence. Okay, when you experience something, happens inside your nervous system, and your midbrain and your engrams and the neural patterns are also recorded in the gray matter of your brain. He learned that the power of self-affirmation and mental visualization techniques are very useful for the connection between the mind and the body. He specified techniques to develop positive inner goal as a means of developing the outer goal, right? So the concentration of inner attitudes is essential to his approach, as a person's outer success can never rise above the visualize internally, right? So success, he points out, is a creative accomplishment. He feels that no man should attempt to be success, but every man can and should attempt to be successful. Striving to be successful brings satisfaction, fulfillment, and happiness. Man is by nature goal thriving being and is not happy unless he is functioning, and he was made to function, right? So, according to him, everyone has a specific mental portrait, right, that defines who he or she is or who or she believes in. The mental portrait is the result of a past experiences, successes, failures, behavior, right? So as a result, this image represents the foundation on which we build our personality. So most people, he feels, let past experiences define them in a negative way. Therefore, they end up behaving in a way who they think they are. He says that mental distortion can be overcome by adopting new methods for better defining ourselves. Right? So we can construct a self-image, one which resembles our closest or more or less. He also feels every human being has an internal greatness that is just waiting to be unleashed. Everyone has the ability to be happy, to be successful in everything we put our minds to. Right? Many a times we have the abilities, but the opportunity becomes unavailable as soon as we start doubting ourselves. Like it's something like we are living in the two worlds, the inner world and the outer world, right? So the kind of inner world that we have, the inner perceptions that we have, the self-image, the self-portrait we have about ourselves within influences the outer world, right? So what Maxwell says is that we need to be able to correct that inner perception. We need to correct that distortion so that we are able to imagine and move towards what we really want to, so that we will accomplish and manifest what is the kind of life that you and I desire for. Okay, so that's what it's about. Okay, so now let's look at the tips, some of the tips for cybernetics. What are the cybernetics? One most important tip is the imagination is the key. Our brain doesn't distinguish between the imagination and the reality. Instead, it acts based on the information that is sent through our thoughts, right? So we can imagine a new version of ourselves through our attitude, interpretation of various situations. This will find a way to make that image come to fruition. However, we must have a clear picture, right, of the person we want to become. By regularly checking on the mental picture, we make sure that every effort we make will be directed towards that goal. Therefore, we are enhancing its power. So, imagination is the key. The second time is taking time to relax, right? Relaxation yields tremendous benefits when it comes to dehypnotizing ourselves from wrong thoughts and convictions. Taking time to relax by finding a comfortable spot and let go of all the tensions that piled in our muscles throughout the day will actually help, right? It will aid us, to be open to what we have always wanted to manifest what we want. The third aspect tip is the meditation. Is again an important regular habit that you and I can take in, right? So that we are more clear, we have clarity of thought, emotional well-being, less anxiety, and everything will have a positive influence on the self-image. Yeah. The fourth thing is forget past failures. See, what is gone is gone, right? So constantly thinking about the past, we get into overthinking, negative thinking. So instead of that, we let go of what is gone. What is gone is gone. Let go of the failures, right? Because unnecessarily by focusing on what is not there, by keeping the past alive, we are actually ruining our present moment. So letting go of the failures will open a host of potential opportunities and divert the mind from the negative and destructive thoughts towards the ambition ones. Okay. Next is let your success mechanism do the work. As humans, we are all born with the innate creative mechanisms in ourselves. Once you get a clear idea about the problem that is to be solved, we should just stop worrying about the potential and the result. We should just let the subconscious mind do the work. The creative mechanism works best when our conscious mind is less involved. So our brain starts to work on its solution, regardless of whether we are conscious or not. Okay. Another important aspect is one of the tip for cybernetics is being happy, right? Being happy, most of us tend to postpone happiness. We keep telling, if I get this, I'll be happy. If I win a lottery, I'll get happy. If I get this job, I'll be happy. Like, all the time we are postponing happiness. But according to cybernetics, what is the suggestion given to us? Learning to be happy no matter what. Taking care of ourselves is a necessary factor in living a fulfilling and independent life within the society. So learn to be proactive, right? Respond in a proactive way against the challenging, mastering a clear positive picture of the end result in the mind. Okay. So success and failure mechanism. Success mechanism It is a sum of the following factors. Okay, it is very simple. What leads us to success? A sense of direction. Say, once we have goals and dreams, okay, which we can break down into shorter term goals, right? We can break down into quarter goals, 6 month goals, annual goals, right? And work on it. So a sense of direction is very important, right? Having a goal is very important in our life. Second thing is comprehension. To be able to communicate, understand people's problems, aspiration, empathizing with feelings and emotions, even admitting our mistakes and shortcomings and finding ways to comprehend. These are essential social skills to process. The third aspect is the courage. Courage is an important factor. Every small problem, no, when we face it confidently, we are built with courage, right? The only way that can make us stronger is by facing regularly the challenges, and overcoming them can make us a courageous person. The fourth important is the clarity, right? Successful people always take it into consideration the benefit of others. They know that everyone is a unique individuality that deserves dignity and respect. So one way to be respectful is to avoid hate, anger towards others, which means being impartial in our judgments and taking time to consider other people's feelings and emotions and necessities, right? Thereby having a charity approach, like being generous with ourselves. I'm sorry, I think I said clarity. It is charity. Okay, so successful people always ensure that whatever they do, they keep the other people in mind, consideration towards other, empathizing towards other, charity. And the next one is esteem, right? It's very important to have a proper self-esteem. We should do everything to enhance our self-esteem, and we need to appreciate ourselves. We need to affirm ourselves that we deserve to be appreciated, we deserve to be successful, right? And we deserve the best in life. So esteem is very important. So opposite of doubting ourselves, we can really sabotage our thinking process. Then we have the self-confidence and self-assurance. What is self-confidence? Having confidence in whatever we do, right? Which is built on success. We naturally feel the ability to replicate them in future. What matters is how many times you have tried to be successful in something and concentrate on our thoughts on that. Right? So confidence is very important, right? It's a confidence that makes us go forward. It's a confidence that makes us stay. It is a confidence that makes us learn something new. Self-assurance, to create a more accurate image of our own self, right? We have to simply accept ourselves as we are, no matter how imperfect we are, how perfect we are, always wanting to be, better person, always changing to be a worthy person, because nobody is perfect. Okay. So there are also some failure. These are all the success mechanism, right? And then there are failure mechanism. What are the failure mechanism? Frustration, right? Not being able to be patient, easily getting frustrated and giving up without trying again and again. Aggressiveness, getting angry, misdirected the agreement, falling disappointment. All this will really cause a lot of insecurities, failures. And then insecurity, always present thought of not being equipped enough, feeling that somebody else is better. It's insecure is a major mental block. Okay. Then loneliness, right? Feels lonely, that we should be lonely for a purpose. Mingling with people can make more interesting, less anxious, promote great opportunities. So loneliness, being lonely can really create self-doubt, create a lot of overthinking, negative thinking. Then uncertainty, right? Being uncertain about whether we are going to make it, right? Making midges, adjusting courses, resentment, right? That something bad is going to happen outside, being victimized, and emptiness, right? Feel that it's a delusion, right? We are not the individual that is morally, mentally, and physically committed to something is not even concerned about internal emptiness, as he wisely chooses ways to strive ahead. So our mind is the most valuable asset that we have. So Marx recommended that we change our attitude towards ourselves rather than experience. According to him, by developing a positive attitude about ourselves, engaging techniques in relaxation, visualization, we develop positive attitude. We have to achieve positive wisdom and helpful insights on how to be successful. Happiness and success are habits, and negative habits can be changed. So mind body connection is the concept that paved way for most of today's personal empowerment program, an attempt to change people's mental image of themselves and accomplish the most ambitious goals, right? So he points out all of this, that changing our mind, changing our thinking process can bring out the difference in the outlook that we have towards ourselves, right? Okay, now positive thinking. What is positive thinking? The practice or the result of concentrating one's mind affirmatively only on the good and the constructive aspects of a matter so as to eliminate all sorts of negative or destructive attitude and emotion. Synonymous are bright outlook, cheerfulness, hopefulness, optimism. Cambridge University Dictionary defines full of hope, confidence, gives us the cause for hope, gives us the giving cause for hope and confidence, right? Expecting the good, right? The process of creating this thoughts to transform energy into reality. So success and failure is a result of how we use the mind and how we think and what we expect on the failure, how we see the negative and the difficulties in every situation, right? To be able to see the best even in the worst kind of situation is actually the positive thinking, right? So now what are some of the tips that we can, I'm moving on fast so that we can read in the textbook some of the things to be able to gain positive thinking, gaining control over yourself, not be a complainer, forever complaining, learning to relax, boosting our morale, congratulating on ourselves when you do small victories, right? When you do something good, when you get up on time, when you discipline yourself, when you study well, right? You give a shabashi, you congratulate yourself. You learn to channel the nerves and the tension positively, right? You take care of your body, your mind, and you also set boundaries by being accepting, to stand up for what you believe and not be pressurized by peer pressure and all that. Now, what are the negative effects of negative thinking? We know what is the effects of negative thinking, right? It causes a lot of problem. It leads us to overthinking, repetitive thinking, and then it can lead us to anxiety. It can lead us to fear. It can lead us to depression, anxiety problem, panic attacks, and all this. Okay, so it is very important that we develop habits of positive thinking. How do we develop? We develop by setting time every day for us in meditation, in sitting quietly for 10 minutes and connecting with the divine. By writing, writing is a therapy whenever we are upset, or even having a journal, writing every day about whatever is happening in our lives, improve our moods. Then a little bit of play is also important. Meeting a friend over a coffee, going for a walk or a bike ride. All these are simple things which are doable. Okay. And also forgiveness, right? Not take everything personally to the heart, because give at least a little bit of room for people to be different, to be, whatever way they want to be, right? So by being too strict with ourselves and too strict with others and taking everything personally, we tend to become bitter, we tend to become resentful, we tend to be, right? So the best way forward is to learning, to forgive every day, not one day, 2 day, but every day in our lives. I learned to forgive myself, and I also learned to forgive everyone who, who I feel should be forgiven. So forgiveness is a very important key. It's actually a spiritual habit that when we forgive ourselves, we accept ourselves with our weaknesses, right? And when we are more generous in forgiving ourselves, it also helps us to be more generous in forgiving others. Okay. So these are very important aspects. Okay. Also, then self-efficiency, performance efficiency. What is it? Efficiency defined as the ability to accomplish something with the least amount of wasted time, money, and effort or competency in performance. It signifies a peak level of performance that is important to reduce the usage of unnecessary resources used to produce a given output, including personal time and energy. Right? The efficiency principle is an economic tenet stating that any action achieves greatest benefit to society when the marginal benefits from the allocation resources are equivalent to its marginal social cost. Talking about effectiveness is defined as a degree which something is successful in producing a desired result or a success. So, efficiency, according to Monroe, is a key to success and personal satisfaction. He says that much has been written about the time management, but focuses usually prioritizing, right, and procrastination. Yeah. As less discussed component of time management efficiency, our person tackles one task at a time, decided upon it. The efficient person uses two steps for most tasks. Choose an approach to the task that uses your strength and yields the right level of perfectionism. The second is continually monitor for efficiency as the task being done. For people who accomplish a lot, there is ever-present voice whispering to their questioning about perfection of the task. The idea of performance, IPS. Performance is said to be the optimal physiological and psychological level of arousal that results in peak performance and ideal performance. Right performance state. IPS is an important to experience highly distinguished patterns of feelings and thoughts, which enables the performance. It involves all levels of human existence, body, mind, emotions, spirit, and creativity. For individuals to reach the state of IPS, he or she needs to do the following state: personally challenged, energized with positive emotion, ready for fun and enjoyment, focused and alert, automatic insight, relaxed and calm, maintaining confidence. Okay, so all these are very, very important. Okay, so you just go through it, you'll find little more clarity. I'll just move on to high pyramid performance. This premise here is the peak performance is not simply a matter of sheer brain power, but the state of being where there is a strong and balanced spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical capacity, right? And each of it is explained in a detailed manner for the IPS. Okay, the state of well-being is building endurance that promotes mental and emotional recovery. Vigorous exercises produce a sense of emotional well-being, right? And an ideal emotional state of being is one of balance. The balanced emotional state includes many positive sensations such as calmness, optimism, focus, confidence, joy, happiness, and complete engagement. And then we talk about the mental capacity is enhanced through improving our cognition capacity such as focus, clear thinking, skills, perception, alertness, accuracy, punctuality, memory, imagination, concentration, and ability to self-control. And then we talk about the spiritual capacity that provides sources of motivation and determination and endurance. Spiritual energy is unleashed by aligning our energy with our deepest values, with the lifelong productive purpose. This alignment is a power of source of motivation. You achieve efficiency in your highest expression of you. Okay, it is the imagining power in which you construct an ideal or finish. Okay, certain ethical qualities also essential for success. Ethical principle that the intentions are right, that you mean to be honest and truthful, that you are good at the moral character, reliable, dependable. You love your work because it enables you to serve others and yourself. Each of us may differ in degree of natural, but everyone has the potential elements of success. Success consists in realizing that you are worthy to succeed. The psychology of performance efficiency depends on the right idea and how to get the idea right. This operates under following. One is develop your best capabilities to the highest possible degree. Second is learn to describe them in a manner that others understand what he or she getting when they hear your idea. Third is identify your market, find the right field for your services, and deliver the services to make prospective employee feel that you are the one person who is right for his requirement. Okay. Psychological momentum, which is PM, changes behavior and performance. It is a continue to success. Psychological moment facilitate efficiency by making successful completion more likely and faster. Right? Since expressing success instantly changes people's perception of themselves as performers, success is likely to lead the subsequent success. Thus, psychological moment can be mediating mechanism between early and subsequent successes. Okay. In general, with increasing skill, human performance advances from conscious to unconscious or from being controlled to automatic processing of information depending on attention and effort put in the uncontrolled processing. Then we have processing efficiency theory that seeks to account for the influence of state anxiety performance from the cognitive motivational perspective. Theory is applicable to the task that place high cognitive demands on performance and therefore particularly available. Okay, so PET is useful a theoretical framework for studying the effects of anxiety or performance. Okay, so PET is useful theoretical framework studying the effect of research findings and phenomena of choking in pressure situation also suggest that PET has a greater explanatory power and other self-focused explanation of performance disruption. Thus, PET has a greater relevance to cognitive rather than the motor aspects. Okay, with this we complete the this unit. Okay, and then we move to the next unit. That is unit number 10. Yeah, unit number 10, block 5. It is all about personal development. Okay, this chapter includes stress management, mindfulness, and personal development. The objective of the stress management is very simple. Explain the concept of stress, discuss the various short-term, long-term stress, management techniques, discuss the concept of importance of time management, right? And also people management. Okay. So we all understand stress is a fact that everyday life we all go through. So when people reach out for, they often dealing with circumstances, situation, and stresses in their own lives that leave them feel anxious, feeling emotionally and physically overwhelmed, right? All of us experience stress at some time or the other. So effective people management is necessary quality for current and aspiring leaders who improve workplace communication for preparing employees. Examining the skills that make people management can help you discover your strength. Okay, the concept, importance, and the skills necessary for effective people is expanded in this unit. Okay, so let us begin with stress management. We understand what is this. It's a normal part of life, right? The term is highly subjective phenomena and very difficult to define, and it has been used by people, to describe a wide range of things, right? There is physiological stress experienced when there is a disturbance in the body, the state of equilibrium, therefore resulting in physiological responses. Stress can therefore be regarded as a physiological response to events, situation that can cause upset homeostasis of the body. Psychological stress experience directly affected by the way one evaluates events and situations, which means that everyone does not experience the same stress, right? In a more accurate term, stress management is not about learning how to avoid or escape from the pressures and turbulence of the modern living. It is about learning to appreciate how the body reacts to the pressures and learning how to develop skills which enhance the body adjustment. So it is predetermined action taking place aimed at controlling a person's level of stress. It involves taking charge of one's thoughts, emotions, and lifestyle, including one way deals with the other personal problem for the purpose of improving functionality. Okay, short term and long term stress. Okay, so short term stress management are employed to get immediate relief from from the gain control of stress symptoms by turning attention away from stressful thoughts. Now let's look at what are the short-term stress management. Physical relaxation method, right? Definitely is very helpful when you do physical activity, right? Body releases endorphins and then we feel much better, right? A positive effect. And then deep breathing also impacts, our nerves, our muscles, makes the body calmer. You can practice any form of deep breathing. And then there is progressive muscle relaxation technique by Jacobson. That is the relaxation, right? And then guided imagery and visualization, where you feel safe, peaceful, and restful, beautiful, and happy. Choose whatever way, whatever time you want to. You can practice this to reduce all the short-term stress. Then mindfulness, right? Practicing mindfulness, being mindful in everything that we do in our lives, right? To be able to deal with our stress by being very mindful. Yeah. And also, you, one second. Yeah. Prioritizing, yeah, effects and planning. Okay. Yes. So mindfulness, where it can help you to stay calmer, it will help your mind to be at peace, right? It will help you to be able to deal with the short-term stress. There's also ventilation. Ventilation, when you ventilate the bottled up feelings, you have been facing problems for a long time, you haven't spoken it with anybody, then you find a friend and then you try to ventilate or you meet a counselor, right? Something like a talk therapy. When you ventilate, you feel much better, you feel a load is off your just okay. Diversion and distraction, yes. Short walk or a short vacation also will help you deal with the short-term stress. Okay. Then long-term stress management. What do? We learn to manage our time. One of the principal source of stress is to overcome commitment or poor time management. Taking care of everything at once can be overwhelming. Not as a result, one may not accomplish anything. Identifying the potential cause for poor time management, addressing them in time helps a great deal in reducing the stress. So we must learn to manage time because everybody has 24 hours, right? Then getting organized. How do you get organized? Be prepared for what is coming next. If you are a student, start preparing from the beginning. You get yourself organized without keeping everything to the last moment, right? Then you are problem solving, right? Whatever is the problem, be more solution oriented. Look at for alternatives to see how you can solve this problem, how you can reduce stress, how you can cope with the stress, okay? And then self-monitoring, being very disciplined to keep exactly noting what is happening in my life. Am I able to keep up with the time? Am I able to manage my stress? Am I able to prioritize? Am I able to get it organized? So we keep monitoring ourselves constantly, right? Cognitive restructuring. We already spoke about this before. Cognitive restructuring is nothing but changing our negative thoughts into positive ones. As we keep each time we are bombarded with negative or overthinking kind of thoughts, we stop, we pause, we change, and thus cognitively we learn to restructure our thinking pattern. Then social support is also very important, where we go around, socialize, meet our friends, meet our people. Okay, all this will contribute to long success. Time management. What are the steps in time management? How do we learn to manage time? Right. Some of the points given in your textbook are effective planning. Right. When you plan well in advance, when you prepare a to-do list, right? You take a plan and keep right down and prioritize things. Work for the better. Setting goals and objective. Always have a goal in your mind. Always have objective set up so that you are able to, manage your time based on your kind of goals that you have. Setting deadlines, right? Always not endlessly giving yourself so much time, but always setting deadlines, setting one. By this time, I'm able to, I should be completing this. By this time, I should be able to complete this many portion, right? So this will also help you to be devoted to a particular task to be able to complete. Delegations of responsibility. Learn to say no, right? You don't have to take everything on your head. We are not atlases to carry the whole burden of the world on our shoulders, right? So the simple thing that we can do is whatever somebody else can do, please give it up to them, right? Thereby you reduce your burden, you delegate responsibility. So the other person is also happy, the other person will also take initiative, the other person also will learn, right? And thereby you can focus on more important tasks. Okay, then prioritizing which is important, which should be done first, which should be done later, what is important in life, right? And then spending the right time on the right activity. Okay, what are the advantages when we do this kind of things? What happens? Our stress levels come down, right? We are able to balance our work and life. Increased focus. We are able to focus better whatever we are doing. We decreases procrastination, that you don't keep postponing things, but you are able to pin down and finish whatever you have planned as per your schedule. Then fewer distractions, that you don't have to get into other forms of distractions, right? Like cell phone, watching TV. Okay, and then you tend to have a lot more energy to be able to do your task. Now, in this also comes people management. So it's very important how we handle it, right? In workplaces especially. So how do we handling interpersonal relationships or interpersonal conflicts? Managers in leadership position have an important role in resolving conflicts. Effective people management can mediate conflicts between employees as well as that promotes collaboration and managing deadlines, directing people, assigning tasks, establishing achievable goals. Effective teams can evaluate and resources and deadlines. Building harmony in a leading position allow is effectively to influence their they can be people management responsible to build rapport with employees. And then we have effective people management skill, right? Empowering employees, help them to develop new skill, be more productive, offer constructive feedback, right? To encourage skill building, being available for questions or additional training, allow them to adjust the workflow or a standard process of it improves their productivity, encourage them to take additional skill building and learning opportunities, supports them on managing challenging projects. Active listening, very important again, the practice of active listening to the speaker to fully understand their perspective, question, or concerns before. Active listeners removes distraction, maintain eye contact, and offer verbal or non-verbal cues to indicate the engagement and understanding. Okay, conflict resolution is again a good skill where you are able to manage the conflicts in a very healthy manner, right? Whether through mediation or whether through resolving. And flexibility, knowing when to be flexible, when to be firmly direct employees is an important aspect of effective people management. And patience, of course, we all know what patience is. Need to be very patient. If an employee continues asking questions about a single process, we should be able to guide them continuously without getting frustrated. Hmm. Clear communication is a necessary people management skill that enables team members to work together, solve problems, right? And trust, again, another important value, that it is very important to have this quality, believing that you can rely on someone else, assisting or advice when you need them the most. Building trust, helps a team to work together more efficiently and productively. Teams should be able to trust the leader's support and believe in their hard work. Leaders should be able to trust the team and complete their task corrected on time. Okay. So this is all about building trust. And then organization, of course, managing a team involves handling several different ongoing tasks, promptly responding to emails, approval requests, questions, keeping a calendar to actively track deadline, running meetings that efficiently discuss information, properly assigning tasks to team members. Leadership development is a topic, that's the next topic, which is 10.6. Okay, where leadership is a topic that has received much attention in the management sector. The success of the leadership development efforts has been linked to three variables. One is the individual learner characteristics, including willingness and ability to learn, right? Quality and nature of leadership development program, and then support behavior for change from others and opportunities to practice new skills. Okay. So leadership development refers to activities that improve skills, abilities, and confidence of leaders. Leadership development refers to enhancing the ability and the effectiveness of those involved to function as a catalyst force for change and motivate and enable others to change and complement each other. Leadership development should not be mistaken for management training. Effective managers often become good leaders, and leadership is an essential part of good management. Okay, not only by doing things right, but doing things that becomes conscious, right, concern of leadership. The emphasis is not so much on how, but on why. What are some of the methods of leadership development? Formal training is very important, right? Where you train the employees to be able to understand, the company, to be able to understand the organization, so that they are able to work well. Then developing a job assignment, following a formal training organization, assigning leaders to developmental jobs, right? And then 360-degree feedback. Feedback is a very important component, right? Where you'll be able to take whatever you know feedback that is given to be able to improve. Coaching leadership focuses on enhancing the leaders' effectiveness. So coaching aims to move leaders toward measurable goals that contribute to individual and organizational growth. Self-directed learning, using directional learning, individual leaders teach themselves new skills by selecting areas for development. Okay, then we have cross-functional and cross-level. This helps to diversify experience within the organization across business units and function. Okay, with this we complete the unit 10 of psychological competency. So we finish 9, we finish 10, now we move on to 11. 11 is all about mindfulness. It's a small chapter, right? And the purpose of this one unit is to understand the benefits, reasons for mindfulness in therapeutics, describe concept of mindfulness and mindfulness exercise, explain similarity between Eastern and Western approaches, define prosocial behavior, explain types of prosocial, and how prosocial behavior develops. Okay. So mindfulness, a deceptively simple ways of relating to experience, has been long used to lessen strings of life's difficulties. Okay. If you were to look at the concept, and we'll try to explain and define the concept of mindfulness, benefits of mindfulness, and also look into different theories. Okay, so what is mindfulness? Paying attention to what is salient at the present moment. Mindfulness also involves remembering but not dwelling memories. A basic definition of mindfulness is the present reality, the clear and single mindfulness behavior of what actually happens to us, and at the success moments of perception. Okay, mindfulness involves paying attention to each and every experience in the present moment with the body and the mind, to be non-judgmental, non-reactive, and accepting attitude in learning to be mindful. Why it is important? Why mindfulness is important? It is important because if we are not mindful, our mind will play with the body. It will focus more on our thoughts, and then we go into more and more of past thoughts, future thoughts, right? All this. When you are mindful, you tend have the tendency to live in the present moment, and then you'll also learn to be equanimous in this impermanence of world. Equanimity is a balance, right? A neutral response to something or experience. The development of equanimity or an equanimous mind, as it's sometimes called, it is important part of mindfulness skills because it gives us the ability to remain less reactive, less judgment. Okay. So, what are the benefits of mindfulness? Recognize, slow down, or stop automatic, right? Habitual race, see situations more clearly, achieve balance and resilience at work and at home, reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, improve memory focus and mental processing speed, improved ability to adapt to stressful moment, respond one more more effectively to complex or difficult situation. That is elimination, improved ability. Okay. Formal mindfulness theory program, MBCT, right, which is mindfulness based cognitive therapy for depression and anxiety. Like these are some of the structured one. Then mindfulness based stress reduction, that is MBSR for general. It can also help to manage long term health conditions. And then we have mindfulness and mental health problem, common mental health problem. Study shows that practicing mindfulness can help manage depression, anxiety problems, feeling of stress. Okay, structured mindfulness based therapies have been developed to treat problems. Okay, and then there is complex mental health problem. Research into whether mindfulness could help treat complex mental, such as psychosis, bipolar, is still in the early stages. It is not very clear. How does mindfulness work? For example, if you think and worry a lot about upsetting the past or the future events, you might often feel sad or anxious. The theory behind mindfulness using various techniques by bringing your attention to the present. So, usually focusing on your body and breathing. You notice how your thoughts come and go in your mind. You may learn you don't have to define who you are or the experience of the world. You can let them go. Let go of them. Notice what your body is telling. For example, tension, anxiety can be felt in your body, such as fast heartbeat, tense muscle, or shallow breathing. Create spaces of you and your thoughts so you can react more calmly. Okay, so mindfulness breathing is a very important technique which you can do. Just be mindful of your breath, count your breath, focus only on your breath, don't focus on your thoughts, let the breath be free flowing. You can practice different breathing patterns like 4-6-4, or maybe you can practice 6-6-6. These are all the breathing calibrations. Okay, just lying down on the floor and meditation. Then there's also body scan where you become totally aware of your body as you lie down. Then you observe the physical sensations on each and every part of your body. You begin from the tip of the toe to the top of your head by focusing and moving your thoughts, and just scanning your abdomen, scanning your shoulders, your arms, your neck, this way. So you spend around some time, some 15 to 20 seconds, and it will relax you totally. Also, mindful observation, which is easily missed, right? Pick up a natural organism with immediate environment focus on watching it for a minute, right? Look at it as it you're looking at it for the first time, right? Allow yourself to be consumed. You can look at a flower, you can look at a tree, you can look at whatever is in front of you. Touching points, right? You use your touch, right? So that you feel in the present. You touch whatever you're sitting with, maybe the doorknob, maybe you're touching this. Now I'm sitting with the bottle, you touch the table, you touch the glass, right? So experience, feel it fully. And then mindful listening, right? You use your sense organs, right? To listening. You may be listening to the fan, listening to the AC, listening to the birds chirping, all this. So that way we use all this, right? All our sense organs, right? To be able to be mindful, fully experience your regular routine to whatever you are doing. Be focused on that task that you are doing, right? The game of fives, right? Where mindfulness notice five things that in your day that you go unnoticed and appreciate it. This could be things you hear, feel, see, and all. So, are you aware of these things that really benefit your lives? Right? It's also called the grounding techniques, where you use 5-4-3-2-1 techniques, where you use all your sense organs to become mindful. Okay. So, this is all about mindfulness. Okay, then there is a similarities between mindfulness practice in the East and the West. Yeah, just go through it. It is not very difficult to understand. You'll be able to understand it very clearly. Okay. So that is all about mindfulness. And we move to the pro-social behavior. What is it? An act performed with the goal of benefiting another person, right? Pro-social behavior refers to actions carried out to assist other people without being motivated by external incentives. Right? The term pro-social behavior is often used interchangeably with the altruism and benevolence. While altruism, the term coined by philosopher Auguste Comte in 1832, describes acts of selfless assistance to others. Benevolence refers to action intended to benefit another, but not seeking a external reward or recognition to the helper. Pro-social behavior can take many forms: direct help, intervention, emergency, volunteer work, cooperating with others, working to serve the environment, right? Political activities aiming to bring about positive social change, assisting people to develop skills, standing up for others who are being bullied. Pro-social behavior ranges over a continuing of most selfless acts of altruism to helpful acts that are motivated entirely by self-interest. Okay, pro-social behaviors can be grouped into three distinct categories. One is sharing, right, dividing up or bestowing. Another one is helping, acts of kindness, rescuing, removing distress. Third one is cooperation, working together to reach a goal. Pro-social behavior is helpful action that benefits people without necessarily providing any direct benefit to the person performing the act, and may even involve a risk for the person who helps. Pro-social behavior as actions that benefit other people and society as a whole. It facilitates the group and in turn provides individual and immersive benefiting. Right? What are the types of pro-social behavior? One is altruistic, right? Those in which one person voluntarily helps another. Compliant, pro-social behavior are those in which person helps another because he or she asked to. Emotional, pro-social behaviors are those which people help others in highly emotionally evocative circumstances. These behaviors are found to be positively related to sympathy and high levels of internalized pro-social moral reasoning. Anonymous pro-social behaviors are those which helps when given when there will be no knowledge of who will help. Dire are those in which help is given in response to an emergency or crisis situation. Public pro-social are those which are performed in front of an audience, motivated by potential for gaining respect and approval from others. Okay. Harlow and Randall refer the six types of pro-social tendency as they measure to likelihood. Now, the characteristics of people with pro-social behavior are people with empathy, right, who are able to empathize with another person. Okay. So, pro-social behavior people have this quality in them. That is the empathy. Second thing is they believe in a just world. They believe in a world, which is just, which is fair, which is predictable, where individuals perceive the world as a fair and predictable place with good behavior. Okay. And then social responsibility. The most helpful individuals express the belief that each person is responsible for doing his or her best to assist anyone who needs help. And another important quality is these people have the internal locus of control. That is, this is a belief that the person can choose to behave in a way that maximizes good outcomes and minimizes bad ones. People who fail to help tend to have an external locus of control and believe that their behavior is irrelevant because outcomes are controlled by luck, fate, people, power, or other. Low egocentrism, altruistic people do not tend to be self-absorbed and competence. Factors in influencing pro-social behavior are physical attractiveness, right, are more likely to receive help from unattractive people, according to Harrell. The explanation lies in the fact that as a society, we consciously or subconsciously tend to treat attractive individuals differently, expecting better lives from them. Then we have similarity and kinship. Individuals are more likely to behave pro-socially towards similar or likable others and towards others considered to be close, especially kin. Genetics relatedness aside, pro-social behavior towards family members probably involves a sense of duty, reciprocity, and emotional relationship. Religiosity, findings from different studies show that humanitarian values and religiosity are considered with giving and helping behavior. Identifiable victim effect studies show that the people give more to identify victims that are unidentifiable or statistical victims. Okay, so charities do often decide to show images of specific victims or potential donors in their advertising campaign, but such attempts are seen to design to benefit the identified victim effect. Okay, so with this we complete mindfulness and pro-social behavior. Yeah. Then we move to the unit number 12. Another 5 minutes we have. Yeah, we move to the unit. Yeah. So unit 12, what we have, personal development. The objective is to understand the concept of personal development, recognize the importance of proper etiquette, right? Understand the elements and characteristics of proper etiquette in personal and professional situation. We know what is personal development. It is a lifelong process, right? It is a process of reflecting on your skills and qualities, considering how they relate to your goals in life, identifying ways to build the strengths you need to succeed, engaging in a lifelong process of personal growth, right? Humanist psychologists, all individuals have inbuilt need for personal development, which occurs through the process of self-actualization. Personal development includes activities that improve awareness and identity, develop talents and potential, build human capital, and facilitate employability, enhance quality of life, contribute to realization of dreams and aspirations. Why is it important? It is important because whatever career to be better appreciate, right? Because we benefit from having a personal development, because it will enhance our confidence level, it will enhance our credibility, our interaction, it will influence our interaction with others, leading and motivating, and also make us curious, and it will help us in good communicating self. So improving personal development skills, we need to face our own fears, right? No matter whatever fears we have, right? Learn something new, find a mentor who can help us, where we can talk to, reflect on everything that is happening, becoming more self-aware, being curious like a child, right? Building our own network, and meditation. Etiquette, what is etiquette? Webster dictionary defines forms, manners, and ceremonies established by convention. Etiquette is respect, good manners, good behavior, not just about these things, but also things rolled into one. It refers to guidelines controlled by responsible individuals. Okay, so individuals should behave in a society. So need for etiquette. Etiquette makes us cultured individuals who leaves his or her mark. Etiquette teaches us the way we talk, walk, and most importantly, how we behave in society. Etiquette is essential for everlasting first impression. The way you interact with your superiors, parents, fellow workers, friends, speaks a lot about your personality and your upbringing. Etiquette enables the individual to earn respect, appreciation in society. No one would like talking to a person who does not know how to speak or behave in society. Etiquette inculcates a feeling of trust and loyalty in the individual. Once becomes more responsible and mature. Etiquette helps individuals to value relationship. Personal etiquette. Man is a social animal. He must follow certain social etiquettes that are appreciated by one and all. While conversing in a group of people, right? So it is very important that we have a personal etiquette about how we live, how we go about, how we drink, what we eat, right? How we behave in the public, how we behave personally, how we converse with people, how respectful we are, how empathetic we are. Okay, so all this will come under personal etiquette. There's also professional etiquette in the workplace. Of we follow certain principle to be on time, to be polite, to be pleasant, to be courteous, right? To learn the office polity, effective listening, to discover appropriate behavior, understand the unwritten rules that the boss is right or wrong. The bosses always have the last word. Keep the boss informed, good or bad. Never go over the boss head without telling him. Make your boss looks like good. Promotion opportunities arise when you help organization reach the goal. Appearing professional well-being, well-groomed reception. Rest for the next promotion. Adopt a can-do attitude. Be flexible. Give credit to everyone who makes a contribution in the project. Do not differentiate people, opposition, or studying company. Meet people. Handshakes are vital. Develop comfortable handshakes. Keep it constant. Make a solid connection on the web skin between thumb and the forefinger. The host or the person most authority usually initiate the handshake. Eye contact increases trust. Make sure that when you're speaking to people, look at them into the eye. By showing the eye contact, you respect the person. You make business deal, right? You establish rapport, right? Say the name of the most important person first and the name of the person being introduced. Okay, keep the introduction basic. Remember names and the future reference. Provide some information about people you are introducing. Clarify. Always carry business cards. Keep written notes. Okay, then the telephone etiquette. Always try to return calls to the point. Do not keep someone on hold more than 30 seconds. Always leave your phone number if you ask for someone to call back. Maintain phones log to refer back to the valuable information. Listening is essential whether in person or face. Make sure your voicemail works properly. Dining etiquette, right? Let the host take the lead. Ask for suggestions, recommendations. Do not order the most expensive menu on the item. Avoid foods that are sloppy or hard to eat. Avoid alcohol, even others are drinking. Choose the correct silverware. Knowing the formal habit setting allows you to focus on the conversation rather than choosing it itself. Yeah, then everything will be right back you left to you. You don't have to do what you do. Watch your foods. When finished, leave your plate where it is. Do not push it away from you. Lay your fork and the knife diagonally across the plate side by side. Practice proper table manners, increasing your confidence and ensure your ability to handle. Napkin etiquette. Place the napkin on the lap immediately after seated. Do not shake it open. Place the fold large napkin towards your waist. You must leave the table. The meal, put the napkin on the chair or to the left of the plate. When finished, place the napkin at the right place. Eat properly. Begin eating only after everyone has served. Bring food to your mouth, not your mouth to the food. Chew your mouth close. Cut food one piece at a time. Do not smoke while dining. Do not use toothpick or apply makeup at the table. Do not talk with me. Take small bites. Okay. Then correspondence etiquette. Thank you letters in 48 hours. Handwritten letters, formal letters. Do not forget to sign letters. Avoid typing and spelling errors. Letters openers should be friendly. Tell the reader what way they are writing. Email appropriate use. Never use all caps. Make the subject line meaningful. Use correct grammar. Use active words and use active words instead of passive ones. Do not ask for recall message. Use the proper structure. Avoid long sentences. Be concerned. Cell phone etiquette. Turn the cell phone ringer off or vibrate. Do not answer phone while meeting with someone. Let go of the voicemail with unexpected important. Return voicemails. Inform others when they're expecting a very important call. Tell them you need to take matter. More and more professional etiquette is viewed as important, making good impression. The visible signs are essential to your professional success. So with this, we also close the 12th unit, which was on etiquette. Everything that we have learned today from 9, 10, 11, 12. There are question and answers, there are match the following, there is glossary, right? And there is also summary. So my dear students, go through all this. I'm sure you'll be able to do very well. Okay, read up again and again so that you are reinforcing your learning and you are able to better retain whatever you have learned. So with this I end the session. My time is up. So thank you for listening and God bless you. All the very best to all of you. Thank you.